Where's my fucking money? Where I don't know where your money is. Now I get why. This is a gay thing. Oh! I see all of you. Hide a fucking Mexican guy in my house.
The film opens with a television ad for Stratton Oakmont, Inc. It talks about the idea of money road intermediaries, portraying them as bulls or lions. A lion strolls through one of the floors of the organization. We next see an enormous gathering of merchants playing a game where they toss little individuals onto a board with a dollar sign for a bullseye. Jordan Belfort Leonardo DiCaprio then, at that point, presents himself among those playing this game. He lets us know that he is the child of two bookkeepers living in Bayside, Sovereigns. Since he began dealing with Money Road, Jordan has partaken in an existence of vast medications and endless prostitutes. Fitting his personal preference, he is seen blowing cocaine into a whore's butt, and afterward, we likewise see him driving his Ferrari and getting a sensual caress from a lady uncovered to be his significant other, Naomi LaPaglia. Margot Robbie. As per Jordan, he does what's necessary medications to steady most of New York's populace. The one medication he cherishes the most, in any case, is the one that can cause man to overcome the world. Cash. He grunts a line of coke with the $100 note, folds it up, and afterward throws it in a wastebasket. At the point when he was 22 years of age, Jordan started dealing with Money Road while wedded to a lady named Teresa Petrillo Kristen Miliotti. He begins filling in as a representative, and he meets his sweet-talking, nice manager imprint Hannah Matthew McConaughey, alongside another rough and prof. Jordan is astounded at how everyone talks and functions. He eats with imprint, who is doing a musical serenade while beating his chest. Mark orders an adequate number of martinis for them to pass the fuck out. He asks Jordan how often he jolts off. Jordan says regarding 3 or 4 times each W. Mark says those are youngster numbers, and that he does it no less than 2 times every day. He begins jabbering to Jordan about how no one knows whether the stocks will go up, down, sideways, or whatever, and that it's each of the fugazi imprint's essential justification behind going into stock. Jordan begins his most memorable day with his dealer's permit on what is October 19, 1987, also known as Dark Monday. The stocks all over the planet plunge, and Jordan loses his employment. At home, Teresa recommends they pawn her wedding band as he glances through the positions segment in the PAP. Jordan makes an appearance to financial backer place in a
Mark pun
suit.
memberitahu satu hal tentang bagaimana dia bisa menjaga mood dan mempertahankan kinerjanya, yaitu dengan menghirup kokain dan melakukan ritual aneh semacam nyanyian penyemangat.
Unkempt work area. Jordan is welcomed by Dwayne Spike Johns, the one who are. He doles out Jordan to pitch a deal for an organization called Airtime, a little organization out of a carport in Dubuque, Iowa. Airtime
Tak hanya diberitahu tentang strategi dalam bekerja, McConaughey juga memperkenalkan Jordan kepada dunia yang belum pernah dicicipinya selama ini, yaitu gemerlapnya dunia malam yang dipenuhi dengan wanita dan minuman beralkohol.
Everyone in the workplace stops how they're paying attention to Jordan. He makes an extremely smooth, yet in addition, exceptionally proficient attempts to sell something. He prevails with regards to making the deal, and his new associates are intrigued. Following a couple of months, Jordan is bringing in serious cash. He is moved toward in a burger joint by a plump, bespectacled man with fluorescent white teeth named Donnie Azoff Jonah Slope. He inquires as to whether the Panther outside is his vehicle, to which Jordan says, okay. Donnie says he lives in a similar high-rise as Jordan and notices he works selling youngsters furnishings. He asks Jordan how much cash he makes, and Jordan says he made $72,000 the earlier month. Not accepting. Jordan and Donnie have drinks at a bar. We discover that Donnie wedded his cousin, since he could have done without the possibility of any other individual attempting to lay down with her. Outside, Donnie smokes some rocks and offers some to Jordan. He endures a single shot and gets siphoned, telling. The two find a carport where they intend to set up a business. Jordan selects a portion of his companions to join. They incorporate Robbie Feinberg, Brian Saka, nicknamed Pinhead, Alden Kupferberg, Henry Zabrowski, nicknamed Ocean Otter, Chester Ming, Kenneth Choi, Nikki Koskoff, PJ Byrne. Brad is particularly notable for making drug deals in his old area. Jordon advises Brad to sell him a pen that he hauls out of his pocket. Brad advises him to compose something on a napkin. Jordon says he doesn't have a pen, and Brad offers it to him. Jordon likewise brings along a few people from financial backer place, including a person called Toby Welch, Ethan Supley. Jordon and Donnie set up what is fundamentally an engine compartment in a neglected auto carport. The folks are good to go up at work areas, prepared to settle on decisions with the content that Jordon composed for them. They start with blue-chip stocks like Disney and AT&T. Jordon calls one financial backer to buy stocks in Kodak. Jordon expects to finalize the negotiation by making unrefined sexual signals to everybody. Similarly, as the financial backer signs on, from that point, Jordon makes Stratton Oakmont and structures it into a lot bigger business with Considera. He has gatherings of aggressive and confident agents clamoring in his office, flaunting their resumes to his face. As one Strattonite makes a deal, the entire floor celebrates, with a walking band and a major gathering of whores. They even have one female worker get her head shaved assuming Jordon P. Throughout the following couple of years, fresh insight about Stratton Oakmont's prosperity gets around, from Forbes magazine to the FBI. Explicitly specialist Patrick Denham Kyle Chandler. Forbes does an axe piece on Jordon, considering him a shabby Robin Hood, and naming him the Wolf of Money Road. Jordon is at first irate about it. However, Teresa lets him know there's no such thing as terrible exposure, and more youthful and enthusiastic representatives rush to his office. They welcome on Jordon's dad, whom everybody alludes to as distraught Max, ransack Reiner, because of his continually peevish mentality. He manages his child's records and criticizes him and his accomplices for burning through $26,000 for a supper, intruding on their talk about involving the little. Jordon sets up a party at his Long Island oceanfront house, where he declares an arrangement to take the organization into the fucking stratosphere. He is going to make sense of for us the impacts of Quaaludes. However, Donnie unexpectedly rises and gradually heads toward Jordon's pool table in sluggish movement, murmuring the name Steve Chafe. Steve Rankle, as Jordon notes, was the huge name from Lady's point of view. Jordon then sees Naomi interestingly. He gets down to present himself, welcoming her to go along with him on his fly ski. Donnie's significant other Hildy Mackenzie Meehan sees this and attempts to move Jordon away from Naomi by saying Teresa needs his assistance. Donnie then goes ground floor and starts jerking off to Naomi before the entire party.
Jordon takes Naomi out to supper one evening. At the point when he brings her back home, she welcomes him to her loft for some tea. Jordon is very enticed by her right before she gets out of her room completely naked.
The two engage in sexual relations for 11 seconds before Jordon attempts to get it moving once more. He proceeds with his issue with Naomi for some time before Teresa finds Jordon doing coke off her bosoms toward the rear of a limo.
She hauls Jordon out and begins smacking him. She mournfully inquires as to whether he adores Naomi. However, he doesn't answer, describing again in voiceover. Jordon says he regretted harming Teresa and afterward sought legal separation 3 days after the fact.
Naomi moves into Jordon's condo. She recruits a decorator to try the spot. However, Jordon would prefer, and she likewise employs a gay steward named Nicholas John Spinagatti. Jordon likes him until the night that Naomi returns home to observe that Nicholas is holding a gay bash in the loft. She goes crying to Jordon and lets him know that $20,000 in real money is absent from their room, as well as $30,000 worth of gems and different apparatuses. Jordon, Donnie, Chester, and Rugrat question Nicholas about what he is familiar with the missing cash. Nicholas won't respond to questions, obviously safeguarding his gay companions, and rapidly redirects the conversation by straightforwardly letting them know that he thinks them doubting him is simply gay bias. Chester punches him hard in the nose, and he and Donnie hold Nicholas by his legs over the gallery to attempt to make him admit. Jordon calls the police, who capture Nicholas for taking and beat him up, all things being equal. Jordon figures out how to recuperate the taken money through tax evasion. Since he perceives that these practices are unlawful, he employs a lawyer, Manny Risk and Joff Favreau, to keep them clear. All Jordon thinks often about is that he's getting more cash than he and any other individual can understand how to manage. Jordon proposes to Naomi with the yellow precious stone ring, and she acknowledges. He holds a single-man party in Las Vegas, where even the plane ride comprises of a great deal of whores, liquor, and a ton of cocaine. The wedding is likewise a quite huge occasion. Naomi acquaints Jordon with her English auntie Emma Joanna Lumley, who knows about Jordon's cocaine use. Jordon and Naomi move out of their New York penthouse and purchase a huge manor on Lengthy Island. He even purchases Naomi a yacht as a wedding present. It's likewise named Naomi. After 18 months, Jordon and Naomi have a girl, Skylar. Jordon lets us know this battling is important for their everyday practice, which closes with them getting private. At the point during short skirts from this point forward, and won't be wearing undies purposely to prod Jordon. Jordon, notwithstanding, has his own stunt to pull. He lets Naomi know that she's been recorded by Jordon's safety officers, both of whom are named Rocco. At work, it is the day of an initial public offering first sale of stock meeting with Steve Incense, a women's shoe fashioner trying to open up to the world about his organization. Jordon gets a quirky merchant cleaning his goldfish bowl. He sends Donnie to get down on the fellow and embarrass him before everyone by gulping down the man's goldfish, and afterwards sending him out while every other person sneers at him. Steve infuriate Jake Hoffman presents his most recent item, the Mary Lou's, which one intermediary says seem to be chunky lady shoes. The merchants begin tossing garbage at him, which Jordon stops. He needs God to go along with them in business, which he consents to. Jordon then, at that point, gets up to the stage to give a discourse to the entire floor about the marvels of being rich. The stock is sent off in the exchanging room and turns into a triumph, netting Stratton Oakmont $22 million in only 3 hours. The FBI sends the organization a summons to demand Jordon's wedding videotape. Jordon meets his confidential examiner, Bo Dietl, playing himself, where Bo lets him know that Denham has photos of Jordon's internal circle. Jordon inquires as to whether it's feasible to pay off Denham. Dietl determinedly says no. A couple of days after the fact, Jordon welcomes Denham and his accomplice specialist Hughes Ted Griffin onto the Naomi, secured at a Long Island harbor. He shows them the rundown of everyone in participation to the wedding. At the point when Jordon tells Denham of a representative of his that he recruited subsequent to requiring cash for his mom's triple detour, a medical procedure, Denham deciphers this as a pay-off of some kind. Jordon ignores it and sends the specialists off his yacht. He jokingly tosses $100 greenbacks at them as they leave. Jordon chooses to guard his cash from the expense men as well as cheats by putting away it in Seaward Records. He, Donnie, and Rugrat go to Switzerland to take care of business. The excursion there is turbulent for Jordon, since he takes a lot of quaaludes before the flight. He then, at that point, acts scurrilously toward the attendant and he affronts the pilot. He awakens tied to his seat. Donnie lets Jordon know that he attempted to begin a crazy party on the plane, dry bumping the female airline stewards and offending the plane's chief, who by limited Jordon in his seat. Because of Rugrat's intercession, with help from his Swiss companion, Jordon isn't charged upon his appearance. The threesome meets with the gathering of French Swiss financiers drove by Jean-Jacques Sorel. Jean Dujardin, Rugrat's companion in school. Sorel convinces them to get somebody outside the US to store cash in their record. Jordon goes to London, Britain, to persuade Naomi's auntie Emma to take a portion of his fortune. This likewise prompts Jordon fruitlessly attempting to hit on her. They likewise utilize Brad's Slovak spouse, Shantali Katarina Cass, to pirate cash in with her family. However, she can tie a specific ed up to her body to sneak into Switzerland. Donnie and Brad get into a contention that finishes with Brad punching Donnie out. Sometime later, Donnie drives out to a shabby Long Island strip shopping center to make a trade with Brad. Brad had explicitly requested that Jordon ensure Donnie didn't show up at the gathering tranquilized out. However, Donnie has all the earmarks of being. In any case, after a couple of seconds, Donnie uncovers that he isn't really stoned for the gathering and starts to incite Brad. Donnie had thought about literally the way that Brad had hit him. They get into one more contention with the police observing close by. Donnie drops his folder case of cash and escapes, passing on Brad to get captured. Donnie appears at Jordan's home with serious areas of strength for an of quaaludes called Lemon 714, an extremely uncommon variant of the medication. The two take a pill each and watch Family Matters on the television, yet feel no impacts. Following 35 minutes, they take more regardless, feel nothing. They figure out that they terminated in 1981. Naomi, pregnant once more, goes down the stairs to find the two working out. She lets Jordan know that Bo Dietel is on the line. Dietel advises Jordan to take off from his home and call him from a payphone. Jordan travels a mile not too far off to a nation club to utilize the payphone there. Dietel educates him concerning Brad getting captured, and that Denham has Jordan's home and work telephones tapped. All at once, Jordan starts to at long last feel the impacts of the lemons. The pills were such a long ways past their termination date. They'd fostered a deferred intertwine. He begins slurring his discourse and afterward falls to the floor, unfit to stand or walk. He creeps outside, rolls down the means, and figures out how to open the entryway of his Lamborghini with his foot. Naomi calls him to say that Donnie is acting oddly and had called Sorrel. Jordan makes an endeavor to drive his vehicle home regardless of being excessively high. He gradually figures out how to return home safe and sound, and creeps his direction to the kitchen to pull Donnie, who is likewise feeling the postponed impact of the quaaludes, off the telephone, hollering admirably well about the FBI tuning in. Donnie races to stuff cold cuts in his mouth. However, he begins gagging and falls on top of the glass eating table, breaking it. Naomi runs in to find Donnie becoming blue and stifling. Jordan gets a little vial of Coke from a cabinet and empties the entire thing into his nose. Compared with the Popeye animation, as olive oil takes care of the Mariner Man, some spinach, with the tune going with Jordan and the Coke. He hauls the food out of Donnie's mouth and starts to apply an unrefined type of the Heimlich move. Jordan stops for a couple of moments, thinking he'll allow Donnie to kick the bucket, until Naomi advises him that Donnie has a family. Jordan at long last gets Donnie to hack up the food he was stifling on. Over Naomi's terrified fights, he runs down the stairs to leave with Skylar. Naomi and the Belfort's servant attempt to stop Jordan as he switches the vehicle out of the carport, yet he winds up colliding with a wall only a couple of yards away. Skylar is safe as she was wearing her safety belt. However, Jordan experiences a minor head injury. Naomi removes Skylar from the vehicle. As a stupefied Jordan steadily acknowledges he will likely never see his two little girls from now on after this most recent episode. Jordan is set up with the wire to acquire his accomplices. They all cheer for him upon his return. He goes to begin with Donnie. Jordan slides him a note that says, "Don't implicate yourself. I'm wearing a wire." When he gets some information about their monetary practices, Donnie professes not to recall that anything. The FBI show up at Jordan's home to capture him when they find the note he slipped to Donnie. However, not shown, the note was given to Denham by Donnie himself, probable as a component of an arrangement that will leave Donnie unaffected or having to deal with lesser penalties. While Donnie quickly erases any implicating records on his office PC, the remainder of the co-plotters are captured in the workplace. In court, Jordan is condemned to 3 years in jail. His mom cries as her child is removed while Max sees him frustrated. At the point when he shows up at jail, Jordan concedes that he was scared when he arrived. According to Briefly, he failed to remember that he was rich. He had become so familiar with the daily existence where everything was available to be purchased. The last scene happens at a straight line workshop in Auckland, New Zealand. The host is played by the genuine Jordan Belfort. Jordan emerges to the group and stands before one man. He takes out a pen and advises him to offer it to him. The man gracelessly begins his pitch before Jordan removes the pen. He hands it to another, who is similarly abnormal. Jordan keeps on doing likewise with additional visitors, as every one of the confident future moguls watch him.